In Egypt, President Hosni Mubarak now says he won't seek re-election this year, but he will stay on until September. So anti-Mubarak protests continue there. Thousands of protesters remain in Cairo's Central Square demanding Mubarak step down immediately. Mubarak's supporters, though, have been out too, and some fighting was reported in the square, though it seems that's been resolved now. The army, which has held back so far, is now asking the anti-Mubarak crowds to go home. There have been protests across Egypt, not just in Cairo. Egypt is a big country, the size of Texas and New Mexico combined. And CBS News chief foreign affairs correspondent Lara Logan is in Alexandria, north of Cairo, on the Mediterranean this morning. Lara, good morning.
Good morning, Jeff. Well, people here in Alexandria really woke up to a very different situation this morning following those late-night compromises by President Hosni Mubarak. In just the last hour, the army delivered a very different message. They said to people, it's really time to go home and let the country return to normal. Just moments after Egypt's president promised not to run for re-election, his supporters clashed with demonstrators on the streets of Alexandria. This ancient city is the second largest in Egypt and home to 4 million people, most of whom support the Muslim Brotherhood, an extremist opposition movement opposed to President Mubarak and any ties to the U.S. Some of the most violent clashes between demonstrators and police have taken place here. But that only made the protesters more determined to see Mubarak step down.
Egypt wants to live in peace, but it has to be with pride. This is the one problem. The Egyptian people have not lived with pride for a very long time.
We've been speaking to protesters here throughout the day as they prepare to march again in the next few hours. There's no sign yet that people here are willing to give up and go home, Jeff.
So, Lara, we've talked about this big difference between the police and the army. So I'm wondering what the military presence is there now and who's in charge of security.
Well, the army was sent in here basically when the demonstrators clashed so violently with the police, and the police were forced to flee Alexandria. And the army came in, they had a good relationship with the people. Many of the protesters I spoke to said, you know, the army is the people. My cousin, my brother, we know many people who serve. And Egyptians are very proud of their military, which is a very professional force. But the big difference here is a change in tone, Jeff. The army was keeping their distance, letting the protests go on as normal, letting, you know, people do their thing. And now that seems to have changed with this message. We had an experience of that this morning. Our crew was out filming, just getting beauty shots of the city, and they were held at gunpoint by the army, who threatened to arrest them. It was only when they saw that we didn't have any pictures of demonstrations or anything political that they really let us go. And so there's a distinctly more aggressive tone already, and this changes the situation significantly for the people out on the streets.
Wow. All right. Lara Logan in Alexandria, Egypt this morning. Lara, thank you.